2014. Chris August is out with a group of friends in Cleveland National Forest when suddenly he sees movement in the bushes.
Look, there is!
I'm fixated on what I had just seen, and I'm still in a state of disbelief.
Then, all of a sudden, someone in the group is mysteriously attacked. This is Mysteries at the National Parks. Cleveland National Forest, a sprawling 460,000 acres of oak woodlands, winding trails and sandstone formations in Southern California. This forest has not changed since the early settlers arrived hundreds of years ago, and some believe its rugged beauty hides many dark secrets. June 1899. In an area of the forest called Black Star Canyon, cattle driver James Gregg camps in front of the home of rancher Henry Hungerford.
James Gregg was rolling up his blankets, and Henry Hungerford came out. Henry Hungerford's brother was there as well. They both had shotguns.
You owe my brother Henry here $2. You gonna pay the man?
Better pay up right now.
I ain't got no more money. I gave you all that I had.
And they say, we demand the money that you owe us for this horse trade. They debated back and forth how much money they owed, but they couldn't resolve this.
Unable to give the Hungerfords what they want, James Gregg has no choice but to act.
You can force my hand. Thank you.
The shootout is short and deadly.
James Gregg was laying on the ground, full of birdshot and buckshot.
The Hungerford brothers stand trial for Gregg's murder, but the charges are suddenly dismissed, allowing them to escape punishment for their cold-blooded violence.
It's sort of a mystery as to why, even though the criminals had turned themselves in for the murder, somehow they got freed. The judge said there wasn't enough evidence.
The injustice of Gregg's murder was long forgotten, until a terrifying encounter over 100 years later. In the same area of Cleveland National Forest, a young couple is hiking. They prepare for a romantic night under the stars.
It's so pretty.
Well. Y'all owe my brother. You gonna pay the man?
The terrified couple experience a chilling encounter that echoes the brutal murder of James Gregg a century earlier. Unlike Gregg, they offer money. What can possibly explain this disturbing encounter? Some believe Cleveland National Forest is one of the most haunted areas in California.
I mean, it's a wonderful place during the day, but at night it's totally different. You get the sense that somebody else is out there watching you. There's
Unexplained sounds and shadows chasing people, and they swear they hear voices. Sometimes they swear a ghost is following them.
Using a digital voice recorder, Ernesto Macias moves through Cleveland National Forest, capturing EVPs, or electronic voice phenomena, of these terrifying hauntings.
We captured from an old man's voice. We heard church bells, music boxes. We captured people asking for help. They also have said that don't worry, they know they're dead. So they're just giving us the chance to walk through without being afraid.
Ghostly voices and apparitions are just part of the mysterious forces at work in Cleveland National Forest. 2014, two boys are exploring a remote area of the park.
They had dared each other to go out there, and as they're walking, they heard noises. They couldn't tell whether it was wind or voices. So that started to freak them out a little bit.
Then suddenly, they hear a horrifying sound.
They heard this strange noise, like an animal screech or something like that.
Rather than run, the boys moved deeper into the thick forest, as if drawn by some indescribable force.
They see this light, and they went towards it. Getting a little closer, they saw that there were these 6 figures in robes. And they saw a table that had a pentagram drawn on it.
The boys have stumbled on a secret satanic ritual. Fascinated, they continue to watch. But then, all of a sudden, they've been noticed.
The figures in the hoods turned and looked at them, which of course freaked them out. So they start running, and when they got to the truck, one of them said they actually found a note in the truck that said, "Please don't ever come back here, stay away."
Other evidence of satanic activity in Cleveland National Forest has been reported. Evidence that may suggest that the forest has become a focal point for those practicing the dark arts.
I have seen graffiti where there was images or a graffiti of the Eye of Horus. It's usually hidden up on the hillside, hidden by trees, so you kind of have to climb and kind of venture to it in order to see it.
The symbol of the Eye of Horus has been used to ward off evil since ancient Egyptian times. But some believe it is a powerful beacon drawing others to the forest's disturbing underworld. In 1989, mass murderer Jeffrey Lundgren planned to hide out in Cleveland National Forest with members of his cult after murdering a young family thousands of miles away.
Jeffrey Lundgren had declared himself a prophet, gotten, I think, something like 29 followers around him, bought a whole bunch of weapons, and were going to go and live out in the wilderness and basically continue their religion in the Cleveland National Forest.
Why are cold-blooded murderers and satanic cults drawn to this forest? Whatever evil presence lurks here, some claim that it not only terrifies visitors, but also attacks them. Cleveland National Forest is a wilderness paradise at the southernmost tip of California. The area is a known hotspot of terrifying encounters, where visitors are confronted by menacing ghosts, and where thick forests hide the dark intentions and blood sacrifices of satanic cults. Some believe it is one of the most haunted areas in the country. What is it about Cleveland National Forest that attracts such evil? 2014. Chris August is in a densely wooded area of the forest. He is a frequent visitor here and is familiar with the area's dark reputation.
There's some weird stuff that happens out there. I don't know if I'm necessarily convinced it's negative energy, but I definitely have those moments where it's particularly eerie and really scary out there.
Chris ventures into a remote area of the forest, ominously called Black Star Canyon, when he's overcome by a strange sensation.
I feel like I'm being watched. I heard slight little shuffles in the dry brush. Logically, you gotta assume that's an animal.
Then suddenly, someone or something runs in front of him.
Darted to the other side quickly. It had these long, narrow arms. I'll never forget it. It's the biggest thing that stands out to me. I was in a bit of a state of shock in that moment and very confused about what was happening. I've never seen anything like that.
What is the creature that Chris saw in Cleveland National Forest? And is it linked to other terrifying apparitions in the area?
I've actually received reports from people who describe to me something that is either part human, part animal, part human. Many people think the Cleveland National Forest is one of the most haunted places in California.
1 week later, Chris returns to the area looking for answers. But this time, he doesn't come alone.
We reached a turning point where the energy shifts. There's just a feeling of heaviness in that area.
Suddenly, the same horrifying creature appears.
Look, there it is!
It was very quick. It was no more than 2 seconds, very fast.
Once again, the strange creature has disappeared into the forest. But then, it reappears and attacks.
What is this? Something scratched me or something.
I rolled up my sleeve and noticed there were like scratches on my arm. It was like 3 of them. I had this burning like sensation on my left arm.
Everybody's starting to get scared and worried, so we ended up turning around and going back.
Matthew did not see what attacked him. Are the forest's many apparitions actually malevolent spirits? If so, where do they come from? Some believe that hidden deep in Cleveland National Forest are gateways into other realms.
A lot of people think that the entire forest is a place where portals facilitates unseen transfer from one place to the next. And it could be in time, or it could be to some other type of realm entirely that we don't really understand.
I think it's the right recipe and combination of energy that can form some kind of portal. And also, what comes out of a portal is not always necessarily your standard ghost apparition.
Look, there it is!
A certain spot along the path that we typically walk, we've been theorizing that there's a portal or a vortex of some sort, because this is a location where people are seeing dark shadows walking along that path. They're seeing figures standing just in that vicinity.
If a portal does exist in Cleveland National Forest, where did it come from, and how did it get here?
One theory is that where you have many, many incidents of strange things occurring, where you have ghosts, all kinds of weird sound phenomena, that there has been either a very emotional or explosive event that happened in this area that sort of warped the fabric of time and space.
What powerful event could have created a portal, allowing menacing visitors from other realms to enter the forest? In the late 1990s, 2 men stumble on a shocking sight.
The bus apparently had been there since the 1970s. The rumor was that a lot of kids had died in an accident there.
Cleveland National Forest stretches from Los Angeles to San Diego in Southern California. It is a hotspot of strange encounters with bizarre creatures.
Look, there it is!
And violent spirits. Some believe portals into other realms are responsible for these inexplicable encounters, and that an overwhelming tragic event may be the cause of this rupture. What catastrophe could have happened here? It's the late 1990s. 2 young men are in a remote area of the forest when suddenly something catches their attention. 2 strange figures rapidly cross their path. The young men head to where the figures mysteriously appeared. As they get closer, they hear strange sounds.
They said it started to sound like voices, so that started to freak them out a little bit. They got the feeling that they shouldn't be there. They were unwelcome. Just a very oppressive feeling.
The young men stop at the top of a steep embankment and are startled by what they see. An overturned school bus. Curious, they go to investigate.
They got a little bit closer and noticed what they thought were little child's handprints. Right at that point, they heard these 6 loud bangs.
Terrified, the young men quickly leave the area. What could explain this mysterious wreckage? Some believe it's what remains of a terrifying incident from long ago.
The bus apparently had been there since the 1970s. The rumor was that it had been a school bus, and a lot of kids had died in an accident there.
Could this be the tragic event that created a portal in Cleveland National Forest? There have also been other reports of hauntings involving children in the area.
A lot of people hear tiny footsteps as though there's children in this area. It definitely seems to be an unusual place where you tend to feel that there's children around you.
We believe that on a particular spot on our trail, there's a child spirit, not just because of eyewitness accounts who have allegedly seen a child apparition, but also the audio that we pick up. It tends to be phrases that are very childlike, I guess. Lost, play, ball, toys. And you have what sounds like a little girl come through on audio.
Despite these hauntings and the abandoned school bus, there's no police record of any tragic event involving children in the area. If it was not a bus crash that opened multi-dimensional portals, then what is the answer to the forest's darkest mystery? Some believe it could be linked to reports of feeling unwelcome when in the forest.
You could go there and you feel like you are trespassing in somebody else's territory. And the sensation is very unnerving and makes you feel like you really shouldn't be there.
It's believed these unusual sensations may be connected to the indigenous history of the area.
I've definitely heard of people actually seeing apparitions of what they would assume to be Native American.
Native American tribes have inhabited the area around Cleveland National Forest for over 10,000 years. Did a catastrophic event occur here, one so powerful that it ruptured the wall between dimensions?
Many people believe that there was a very traumatic Native American battle in this canyon area.
The spirits are angry because of what went on there. They're still fighting that war. They're still fighting that battle.
In Cleveland National Forest, visitors report seeing ghostly apparitions. Others witness satanic worshipers. And a hiker says he was attacked by a terrifying creature.
Something scratched me or something.
Some believe a portal caused by a tragic event involving the area's indigenous population could be responsible for these shocking encounters. For many years, ghostly sightings of Native Americans roaming the ridges and pounding drums have been reported.
You could go there sometimes and it's just very comfortable. And then there's other times when you go there, you see them, you could definitely feel them. And the sensation is very unnerving.
Some contend these native hauntings are linked to a catastrophic event from almost 200 years ago.
Many people believe that there was a very large and very traumatic Native American battleground scene in this canyon area. And some people think that when this kind of thing happens, it's an actual disturbance that creates an opening that sometimes we can see into, things can come out of, or things can go back into.
It's claimed that in 1831, a band of Native Americans are slaughtered in the forest. Some believe their bodies were left to rot without a proper burial, and that their angry spirits may have remained in the area.
If the bodies weren't put under the ground or buried properly, so they would remain on that ground, and so does the spirits. The spirits dwell on that ground, and they'll always dwell on that ground until they're put away properly.
It's believed the presence of these restless spirits have warped the fabric of time and space here, allowing for other paranormal activity to occur in the forest.
A lot of people think that the entire forest are places called window areas where maybe we intersect with some other world. When this kind of thing happens, more people are likely to run into strange creatures, ghost-like apparitions, hear very weird noises as if Native Americans were still there pounding the war drums.
Cleveland National Forest is a hotbed of supernatural activity, making it one of the most haunted wilderness areas in America.
Oh my gosh!
Since no one knows how long the spirits will remain restless, the hauntings at Cleveland National Forest may last an eternity.
The spirits are angry because of what happened there. They're still fighting that battle, and they don't understand. They're not in this world.
There are people who actually just studied all of the different sorts of reports that have come from there. Things that couldn't be in the known and natural world. You have to start believing that there's something extraordinary going on in that place.